Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
I'm very happy today that I have
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we meet again this beautiful Friday morning, the 28th of September 2024. A very good morning to you and welcome to Horizon TV. My name is Zamzam Ahmed. This is the Muslim Insight, a show that brings to you weekly news recap of stories that matter to you. Today we have so much lined up for you, but before that, let's get the headlines.
I'm very happy today that I have participated in the competition in the Holy Quran.
Dubai International Quran Competition. Fathi Hassan from Kenya secures third place in the Dubai International Quran Competition.
We need to get organized and to do our things properly, because by so doing, it will make the work of the Hajj agent easier. It will also make the work of the mission easier.
Hajj 2025. SUP came to significantly enhance services to ensure seamless Hajj experience for pilgrims. Israel's war on Gaza. Palestine submits draft resolution to UN General Assembly for Israel to end occupation.
Thank you so much for choosing Horizon TV this Friday morning. Remember, the hashtag is the Muslim Insight. Now on to the top stories of this week is Fathi Hassan Rashid from Kenya emerged third in the 8th edition of the Sheikha Fatima bint Mubarak International Quran Competition. The Quran competition saw participants from 62 countries and Islamic communities worldwide. 13-year-old grade 6 learner represented Kenya in International Quran competition in Dubai after emerging as the winner of the National Quran competition held in Kirinyaga County in July this year by Darul Quranul Karim Society in collaboration with Darul Majlis Al-Islami Kenya. Maria Musa with more report.
The Sheikha Fatima bin Mubarak International Quran Competition drew contestants from around the world, celebrating excellence in Quranic recitation and memorization. Speaking to Horizon TV at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi, Fathi expressed her happiness for the great achievement, stating that the competition was not only an opportunity to represent Kenya, but also a chance to deepen her relationship with the Quran.
I'm very happy today that I have participated in the competition in the Holy Quran. First of all, I'm thanking Allah, and second of all, my parent, and my parent and my teacher, and I'm very happy.
Fathi Hassan has been working hard to represent the country after winning the Girls Quran competition at Masjid Isa bin Mariam Baricho Town in Kirinyaga County.
Msichana aliingia musabaka Dubai al-Alamia na alhamdulillah tabarak wa taala mebata number 3 katika hiyo musabaka. Alhamdulillah, tunashukuru Allah tabarak wa taala na tunashukuru msichana yetu ambaye alifanya hiyo kazi.
Kasoo shaqeeyay ugu mahadcelinayaa macallinka waliba macallin.
First of all, I want to thank the Almighty for this chance. Also thank for this teacher, Mr. Jama, and others for their dedication towards our girl. You have done a wonderful job. To my fellow parents, thank you, and I also urge the school to keep up the spirit and produce more Hafiz in future.
hore u socdaan ku leeyahay insha Allah kuwa badan oo xaafidiin.
Jamal Gabo, the Musa bin Umair school manager in Nairobi, where Fathi is a grade 6 learner, said her success highlights the dedication of the school in instilling discipline and skills required to excel in a competition of this magnitude.
We are very much happy for the accomplishment. She is among the top 3 ranked positions in the Quranic competition that was held, and we are here to congratulate her, to thank, to show our solidarity that the accomplishment is not only a testament to her, but also an inspiration to all of us.
In fact, she was doing a double strike because this year also she is preparing for a grade 6 exam. So preparing for 2 exams, winning one, we expect her to do a lot to win the other one because we know she is capable. We are proud of you, Fadi. Keep on improving. In fact, we've made history.
Fateh Hassan took home 6 million Kenyan shillings cash prize. The Dubai International Holy Quran Award annually organizes the international Quranic event for women from various countries. Reporting for Muslim Insights, my name is Mariam Sa.
Quite a recitation. Thank you so much, Mariam Musa, for that beautiful report. Now we say Mabruk to our youngster Fathi Hassan Rashid. Elsewhere, between the pages, a book club with a vision to share Islamic knowledge by reviving and promoting reading for a successful holistic life will hold an engaging book club session at the Jamia Mosque Nairobi's multipurpose hall. The event, which will be held tomorrow, the 21st September 2024, will focus on the fundamentals of Tawheed by Dr. Bilal Phillips.
The fundamentals of Tawheed clarifies in detail what Islam means when it says one God by identifying and explaining examples of violation of the unique oneness of God within the cultures and beliefs of many cultures. The book presents a detailed explanation of classical Islamic concept of God's unity as it relates to faith and acts of religious devotion. It also discusses the major areas within which the Islamic Unitarian belief Tawheed is either nullified or compromised by idolatrous concepts and practices collectively called Shirk. Dr. Bilal Phillips, who is the author, proved Islamic to be the only true and purely monotheistic religion in the world. This book has been translated into French, German, and Chinese languages. The book review will be done by the Jamia Mosque Nairobi, Imam Sheikh Jamaluddin Usman, and Sheikh Badru Jafar. Reporting for the Muslim Insight, my name is Yusuf Okeke.
Thank you so much, Yusuf Okeke, for that report. Now moving on to other stories, the Kenya Hajj Mission under the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims is working closely with the Saudi Arabian authorities to make several improvements to ensure a positive impression on Kenyan pilgrims in 2025. SUPKIM National Chairman Hassan Olenado, speaking during the Hajj conference held on Saturday in Nairobi, said the plan aims to provide improved services following a successful Hajj this year.
Kenya Hajj Mission has received widespread praise from stakeholders in the Hajj and Umrah operations for its exceptional services provided to Kenyan pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. The stakeholders commended the Kenya Hajj Mission in ensuring that those planning to perform Hajj face no difficulties in obtaining travel documents, visas, and service while in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
We need to get organized and to do our things properly, because by so doing, it will make the work of the Hajj agent easier. It will also make the work of the mission easier, because everyone else will be planning based on the actual number of people who are going there. And finally, for the spaces in Mashair, that is both Minna and Arafah, you have to pay on time, because otherwise it is fast come, fast served. That is the policy of the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which is justified.
Speaking during the Hajj conference in Nairobi, SUPKEM National Chairman Hassan Olenado hailed the efforts made by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia during this year's Hajj season, stating that the Council will capitalize on the past mistakes and adopt pragmatic measures to correct the perennial anomalies associated with the Hajj.
Hajj is about the visa that you apply, the Hajj visa. Hajj is about the Mashair, that is Minna, Musdalifah and Arafah. Hajj is about the transport between Mecca to Mashair, that is Mina, to Arafah, Musdalifah, and Mina. And then from Mecca to Saudi Arabia. Then the tents in Mina, and also in Arafah is another component that is given the price by the government of Saudi Arabia. Then the remaining are actually basically two. That is the airline and the hotel accommodation in Mecca and Medina. And these are the areas where the agents do. So these other aspects are fixed prices by the government of Saudi Arabia.
While efforts were made by the Kenya Hajj Mission to ensure the comfort of the over 3,000 Kenya pilgrims who traveled to Saudi Arabia this year, there were notable challenges.
Hajj is an experience no one can describe to you fully. If you've not been there, no amount of training or description can really give you the enormity and the greatness of this thing. The agents should try as much as possible to give a true picture and prepare the Hujjaj mentally in terms of what to expect. Maybe we should request as a community to have, a standard directorate at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This is a fully funded government department which runs this thing, so that the petty issues of delays and all this can be sorted out in a much more organized way.
In his address, Jamia Mosque Committee Deputy Chairman Abdul Latif Isaji called on the leadership of the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims to organize a benchmarking visit to South African Hajj and Umrah Council to learn more on Hajj management and operations.
The cost of Hajj is based on Saudi Riyal. So if your currency is weaker than the Saudi Riyal, then it means you'll pay more.
So maybe the agents can actually engage with Islamic banks so that we can start early, lock in a number of places, but this is, you don't get return without risk. So you can get 100 Hujjaj, or you might get 1995. So I believe it's something that actually happens.
Hajj is an annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca, Saudi Arabia, the holiest city for Muslims. It is one of the 5 pillars of Islam that Muslims are required to perform it at least once in their life if they have the means to do so.
And on matters of health insurance, the government says it is ready to roll out the social health insurance from October 1st, even as it faces the challenge of numbers that have registered so far. In an engagement with the media on the rollout expected in the next 10 days, Ministry of Health said so far only 1.2 million Kenyans had registered, but were optimistic the numbers would rise before the official rollout. Health Cabinet Secretary Deborah Barasa called on Kenyans to focus their energies into registering for SHA, arguing it will be the way out of health problems that have led to numerous harambes.
We will continue monitoring the SHA rollout. We will continue improving the system. We will address the funding gaps and enhance digitization efforts to improve healthcare delivery and data management in Kenya.
Anybody who is admitted on the 30th of September and will be in the hospital for that period will be entitled to the NHIF benefit. And therefore, the claims will be paid based on the NHIF rates. Anybody who goes to hospital, treated, discharged, inpatient or outpatient, effective 1st of October, will be treated under the Social Health Authority benefits that we have listed in our earlier presentation. And therefore, when the facility claims for reimbursement from Social Health Authority, they will be claiming based on the Social Health Authority benefit packages.
The Ministry of Health has already done an assessment of all the levels of facilities in this country. The 14,000 health facilities in this country, which includes the public health facilities, the private health facilities, the faith-based health facilities. So we know the gaps, or we knew the gaps even before now. And what we are doing is to ensure that these gaps are fixed in terms of human resources, in terms of infrastructure, and also in terms of equipment that is meant to treat people.
Elsewhere in the coastal region, HelpAge International has launched research in 4 Kenyan counties aimed at establishing challenges facing elderly persons and recommending solutions. This follows an outcry across the country to the effect that elderly persons have been neglected, with many facing violence from, among others, their close relatives, while others were suffering indignity due to lack of finances. Mohammed Shakombo has more details.
The international non-governmental organization held a sensitization workshop with relevant stakeholders in Malindi town, where it was agreed that the research will enable state and non-state actors to find a lasting solution to the woes bedeviling the elderly. Lydia Makena Micheni from HelpAge International Kenya chapter said the research will focus on establishing barriers and facilitating access to social protection, income and health for elder persons.
Wale wazee ambao hawapati social protection wanafanya nini kujikimu kimaisha? Kwa sababu naelewa bila hela basi even dignity and respect unakosa kama mzee. Kwa hivyo tumekuja kufanya hiyo utafiti.
She said the research will be conducted in Siaya, Kilifi, Kisii and Embu counties between September 2024 and December 2024.
There is lack of awareness about aging. Uzee ya kwamba sisi wote tunazeeka. Na vile tunavyozidi kudhalilisha wazee pia sisi wenyewe tutadhalilishwa. Kwa hivyo through this meeting tumepatana na washikadau kujaribu ku-identify what are some of the solutions and interventions tunaweza come up nazo za kuweza kusaidia wazee na kupunguza hizo issues za violence and abuse towards older persons.
Joseph Karisa Morandu, the Secretary General of the Malindi District Cultural Association, said elder persons in Kilifi County continue to suffer indignity and violence because leaders had given the matter a deaf ear.
Kiangalia mara nyingi wazee wametengwa, wazee wamesahaulika, na ili hali tunajua kwamba wazee ndio nguzo katika jamii.
Tungeomba pia kwamba wale wahusika washikadau washikane na wawe wakizungumza mara kwa mara hii mada ya wazee kuwa wana shida. Tuna hakika kabisa tukiwa tumeshikana kama kikundi cha washikadau itakuwa ni rahisi sauti zetu kusikika.
Calls to establish special desks for elderly persons at hospitals and police stations were made to enable older persons' issues to be addressed adequately. Kenya has witnessed the killing of elder persons on suspicion that they are practicing witchcraft, which was fueled by lack of awareness about aging. Mohammed Shakombo, Muslim Inside.
Thank you, Mohammed Shakombo, for that report. The Palestinian Permanent Mission to the United Nations submitted a first draft resolution to the General Assembly demanding Israel to end its presence in the occupied Palestinian territories within 12 months. The move came after the General Assembly granted the mission additional rights and privileges to participate at the UN. An emergency session was held at the 79th UN General Assembly on the legal consequences of Israel's activities in occupied Palestinian territories.
United Nations General Assembly President Philemon Yang reiterated the International Court of Justice's advisory opinion on Israel's actions in occupied Palestinian territories, including East Jerusalem. Yang emphasized that the UN General Assembly and Security Council have a responsibility to take steps to end Israel's illegal occupation. He expressed hope for the session to make a positive difference in the lives of many who continue to suffer in Palestine and who look up to the UN to make the right decisions. Palestinian envoy to the UN Riyad Mansour said, Palestine is an important part of universal history and the Palestinian people are an integral part of human humanity. Mansour urged the international community to hold Israel accountable, citing a recent request by the General Assembly for an authoritative opinion from the ICJ on the Israeli occupation. Scores of people were killed and others injured in Israeli airstrikes on the Burej refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip early Tuesday, taking the overall death toll since last October 7 to over 41,000. The Israeli onslaught has displaced almost the entire population of the territory amid an ongoing blockade that has led to severe shortages of food, clean water and medicine. Israel faces accusations of genocide for its actions in Gaza at the International Court of Justice. Salma Salim, The Muslim Insight.
Now that report from Salma Salim brings us to the end of our first segment of the Muslim Insight. Join me in the second segment as we do the Friday Bulletin Review. Stay tuned.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on Horizon TV.
Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
إن الذين يرمون المحصنات الغافلات المؤمنات لعنوا في الدنيا والآخرة ولهم عذاب عظيم. يوم تشهد عليهم ألسنتهم وأيديهم وأرجلهم بما كانوا يعملون. يومئذ يوفيهم الله دينهم الحق ويعلمون أن الله هو الحق المبين.
Kuna faida gani twapata tukimjua Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam?
Nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani.
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini, tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu: man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake,
lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Ufahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya Mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye Horizon TV.
Uislamu ni dini yenye mpangilio ulio kamili na taratibu zake humpa fursa kila mja kuifahamu na kuelewa.
Muislamu yoyote lazima achukue jukumu la kuifahamu dini yake, kuanzia kwenye shahada, ashhadu, nakiri kwa moyo,
kisha usafi wa kimwili.
Hapo ndipo huanza safari ya kumwabudu Mola wake.
Usikose kujiunga nasi kila siku ya Jumamosi live kwenye kipindi Ufahamu Uislamu. ili ujifunze mengi usiyojua kutoka Horizon TV.
Tazama ukumbi wa fiqhi kwenye Horizon TV.
Halal, haram, sunna, wajib, makruh, mubah.
Ili upate kujua ahkam za ibada kwenye Horizon TV.
Kitabu chenye uongofu kilichoteremshwa kwa mpangilio maalum.
Sura ikiitwa Madania inamaanisha iliteremshwa Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam alipokuwa kwa Madina.
Kila sura imepewa jina rasmi na sababu zake za kimsingi.
Inaitwa Suratun Nisa'il Kubra, sura ya wanawake kubwa.
Fahamu sababu za kuteremshwa Qur'an na matukio ya kipekee katika utaratibu huu.
Asema Mwenyezi Mungu wa Nuha, nakumbukeni kisa cha Nuh, tumpomlingania kabla, tukamjibu yale mambo aliyoyaomba, tukawa mwenye kumwokoa yeye na ahli yake.
Ungana na Profesa Muhammad Salim Badamana katika malengo ya Qur'an kila siku ya Jumapili saa 11 kamili jioni katika Horizon TV. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Nasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان. انتهى.
Ili kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wasalam. Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu alimfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
Thabbit qulubana ala dinik wa ala ta'atik.
Ungana na mashekhi wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Ni Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku katika Horizon TV, runinga uipendayo.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is 29 minutes past 8 o'clock in the morning. This is our second segment of the Muslim Insight. And today we are having the Friday Bulletin Review. In studio, I am joined by Sheikh Musa Mwale. I know you told me not to call you Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, how have you been?
Alhamdulillah, I've been doing great. It's been a while, by the way. Having you here is a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
MashaAllah. Today we are having the Friday Bulletin Review. And on the front page, we have Kenya abstains from UN vote on Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories. But before we dig deep to what the title is saying, maybe could you tell us the state of Palestine right now?
Well, the genocide is still going on with the terrorist state of Israel, of course, continuing to commit a lot of atrocities. Yes, we know the world has kept quiet. It's no longer in the news, but we keep on getting the news. And we can say that the war is not to end right now, except for the intervention. There are several efforts, like the International Court of Justice rulings, South African case in the court. And there are quite a number of course, there have been demonstrations by students abroad in the West. So there are quite a number of efforts going on. However, of course, the state of Israel continues. There has been some talks on ceasefire, you know, every other time. But we don't see a lot of permanent ceasefire. What we see are just dotted you know, dotted periods of some ceasefire, sort of, but it's not total ceasefire.
Okay.
Yes.
At one time, we saw that Kenya voted for them, right? But if we look at the topic on the front page of the Friday Bulletin, we can see that Kenya abstains from UN vote on Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories. The UNGA, which is the United Nations General Assembly, vote follows a July ruling from the International Court of Justice, ICJ, which stated that Israel's presence in Palestinian territories is illegal.
Yes.
Maybe could you tell us why would Kenya abstain from the UN vote on Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories?
Because the Kenyan foreign policy is almost like non-existent. And as they say, if you don't know where you're going, then any road will lead you there. So when it comes to the Kenyan foreign policy, especially with this regime, this current regime, they don't know where they're going. That's why they keep on jumping. At one point they are supporting Ukraine, at another point they're getting fertilizer from Russia. You know, at one point they are having talks with Iran. At the other point the Iranian president comes here and the protocol in terms of reception are not good because they have apparently been instructed by the West not to deal with certain people, not to deal with, entertain certain countries. So basically, I think Kenya right now is doesn't know where it's going, especially the current regime, when it comes to foreign policy. So they keep on being dictated to by the Americans or by the West, and unfortunately also by the murderous foreign murderous regime, the Zionist regime. But even from history, Kenya has never supported any liberation anywhere in the world. It has never. Tanzania has supported a lot of African countries gain independence. Our neighbors, Tanzania, including Uganda. But Kenya has never. Kenya has always, unfortunately, sided with the oppressor. During South Africa's apartheid regime, Kenya actually sided with the Boers, with the oppressors.
Okay, that is what I can see here. It has been quoted.
Yes.
Kenya has become a surrogate of the Western powers, as always. It was during the apartheid in South Africa. It has been the poster of the U.S. with regards to the Zionist state of Israel.
Yes.
Maybe if I could ask, right now you can see that over 41,000 Palestinians are dead now. Does Kenya abstaining from the UN vote on Israel's occupation of Palestinian territory deny the hope or kill the hope of the Palestinian people?
It doesn't kill the hope of Palestinians because Palestinians don't need the support of the Kenya government. They need support of people of goodwill. The Kenya government doesn't have that goodwill. The Kenyan people have the goodwill. We've seen a movement of supporting Palestinians here in Kenya, quite a number, and they're both across the board, the Muslims, the non-Muslims. But the government itself, as it has been rightly put, they have always sided with the oppressor. So according to the Kenyan government, the 41,000 Palestinians who have died mean nothing to them. But the 100 and something abductees that were abducted during the October 7, they mean a lot. And that's where we see even Canadian, when they were abstaining, that's what they were quoting. Every other Western country that supports Israel will always quote the October 7. They never quote the 1947 invasion of Israel. They quote the October 7 only. Just one small incident. And yet, what led to the October 7 is the continued brutalization of Palestinians. So, just like if you lock a cat in the room and you start beating it, it turns into a lion. You cannot start blaming it for turning into a lion. So the Palestinians are tired and they have turned into a lion. And now the world is seeing that lion. They are not seeing the person who locked that cat and started beating it. So basically, it's unfortunate that Kenya is behaving the way it's behaving. Yet it prides itself for being a peacemaker. It has never been a peacemaker because apart from the Southern Sudan, and Southern Sudan, they were actually requested by the West to do that, to intervene. So Kenya has never volunteered to intervene anywhere. And Kenya has never been on the side of the human rights. Kenya has always been with the oppressors.
That's really interesting.
Yes.
Kenya not knowing the direction they are heading to.
Yes, when it comes to foreign policy, they don't know where they are heading to.
But maybe, does this mean that Kenya abstaining will also make Kenyans not to support the Palestine?
No, the Kenyan people have said there's a difference between the Kenyan people and the Kenyan government. Just like we always say there's a difference between the American people and the American government. The Kenyan government, being led by a foreign policy, they make certain decisions. You know, a foreign policy guides you in terms of relating with other nations, relating with other people. So if what we are saying is, if you don't know your direction or where you are getting to, any route will take you there. And that's where Kenya finds itself in, because it has not specifically defined its foreign policy. And therefore, when Russians come here, we are quick to welcome, to have a pact with them. When Ukrainians come, we are quick. When Zionists come, we are quick to do that. Because we do not understand where we are standing or where we are heading to. If we did understand that, if we defined ourselves, then we can say, no, we can relate with you on these terms. As for you, we cannot relate with you because of ABCD. Yes.
Okay. Now we're talking about leadership in one way or the other. And looking at this Friday bulletin, we can see that there are so many different topics here and there. And if we look at page 5, we can see that Prophet Muhammad, the humble leader. Let's first talk about the leadership in Kenya. How do you define the leadership in Kenya right now?
Unfortunately, the leadership in Kenya is not based on the interest of the people. And it cuts across. We are not just going to say the national level, or even at the county level, sub-county level, you know, both the legislature, quite a number of people don't take leadership, don't take up leadership because they want to help the common citizen. They take up leadership because either they want to amass wealth, like mostly in Kenya, or they want to protect what they have. Or they want to protect the skeletons in their closet. Maybe they have done quite a number of things and they know they might face some sanctions, including maybe jail terms. So they go into leadership to protect themselves, to get that insulation and that immunity. We have, yes, quite a number of people who are there, who mean well and who went there to represent the interest of the people. But as they say, where there's a majority, because we're in a democracy, so where is a majority, then the majority carries the day. It's not about the right. It's about a wrong that has been voted by so many people, being supported by so many people. It will carry the day rather than the right that is being supported by a few people. So that is the downside of democracy. So unfortunately, most of the leaders are self-seeking leaders. They are not there for the interest of the people. We could just see from the national leadership all the way to the county government, all the way to the members of county assembly, who are always blackmailing the governor to give them this or that, or they don't vote for the budget. Just like our parliament. If you don't give us this, we will not vote for your budget, or we will not do this. So what does the government has to do? Sometimes they give in, you know. So basically, once someone knows that you are driven by your stomach, they will always ensure that they feed you to the fill so that you look aside and they continue doing what they're doing.
Okay. That one brings me to a story, reminds me of a story that happened in Isiolo. We had the governor who fundraised for the Boda Boda riders, but the Boda Boda leader came and said that the check was fake. Does that bring the attention to people that these leaders are really lying to us, and maybe others also are doing the same?
Yeah, that's what I said, that from all the way from national leadership to the county government or county level or to the local leadership, all the way down there, the leaders are not there for the interest of the people.
You know, I'm just trying to imagine, how do you give check that is fake?
That has been the norm. What happens is in the past we were having harambes. People used to showcase a lot of money being given, like they would, I'm contributing 10 million shillings. Then it's seen, it's captured by the camera. But then after the cameras have gone, I go back to the committee, the organizing committee of the Harambe, and I take my 9 million and leave them with 1 million. And those checks, even people used to flaunt checks. My contribution is 500,000, but that check does not have money. So the committee, the organizing committee, will keep on chasing the Mheshimiwa, as they are referred to, or Mheshimiwa, your check, Mheshimiwa. So sometimes people will go out saying, oh, that institution was given, we fundraised 10 million for it, and yet we don't see work being done. But in actual sense, what they have could be 1 million shillings. Because the rest of the money, either the checks did not go through, the money that was purportedly given was taken back, and they have to continue protecting the name of the Mheshimiwa, you know, while they are suffering. So they will be accused of embezzling funds, yet they did not have any funds. This is the most unfortunate thing. So I'm happy that, of course, with the time, the Harambes are going away, I mean, at least on the political level. But at individual level, we still continue doing Harambes. You know, you can call us to your place and we do Harambe. You
know, we tend to say that we blame ourselves for voting for these leaders. Is it that we don't know what we are doing? Is it that we are not sure of these people's characters? Or definitely there is a solution. What could be the solution? Because this is the constitutional right for voting, right?
Yes.
Maybe what could be the other solutions in terms of voting for these leaders?
The solution is for the voter to be empowered, not to vote based on their emotions, because most voting has taken place based on emotions, and also based on tribal leanings. So we will vote for you because you come from our tribe or our community. You remember there was a time a certain leader who had been named on corruption issues, and they had been chucked out by government. When they went to seek for leadership at a certain level, and people were saying, oh, that one is a thief, they say, we would rather choose our own thief. So if they chose their own thief, who guarantees them that they will not, that thief will not now, they stole nationally, but this thief will start stealing from home. Because a thief is a thief. If you have a son who is a thief or a child who is a thief, they will not only steal out. If out becomes difficult, they'll start stealing from home.
Okay. Before we shift to another story, and because the title says Prophet Muhammad, the humble leader, could you maybe describe the leadership skills of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Alhamdulillah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We cannot, of course, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a prophet and prophet of Allah, and therefore every other action that came out of him was an inspiration from Allah the Most High. And therefore, of course, he is the best of example to us, and we are supposed to emulate him. And him being human, of course, whatever he did is not beyond our imitation, or us taking it as an example.
Okay.
Of course, he was the best of leaders in all circles.
MashaAllah.
Even non-Muslims scholars have described him as the greatest man ever. You know, and therefore, he was a best leader at home front, I mean with his family. He was the best leader with society. He was the best leader in terms of even commanding the army. He was the best leader when it came to religious institutions. He was an all-round leader. And he was what the people call nowadays a servant leader. He led from the front, not giving instructions and sitting behind. He led from the front. If it's about war, he also went to war.
Leading by example.
Yes, leading by example. If it's about, you know, when they were with his Sahabas, when they were on a trip, and they reached somewhere where they had to collectively undertake some chores like maybe do nyama choma. He also collected firewood. He also prepared the nyama choma. You know, those are the examples we get. That he's not a leader who sat back and gave instructions. He led by example. He led from the front, and he was a very patient person. And he gave, you know, the concept of shura. He led from the shura, whatever consensus, whatever decisions that came up. You know, so he wasn't a dictator like what we see nowadays. I am a leader, I have said it, and that is what will remain.
That is the final.
He allowed to be corrected, you know, by his sahabas. He allowed to be corrected by subjects.
MashaAllah, what's a kind leader, MashaAllah.
Yes.
Let's switch gears to other stories, and especially to our top stories of the the Muslim Insight today. And I can see it on the Friday bulletin, the page 2. Fathi wins 6 million Kenya shillings in Quran competition in Dubai. You can see that this youngster named Fathi Hassan Rashid emerged 3rd position in the Dubai Quran competition. Again, she is number 2 in Africa. Maybe, what's your take on young children emerging winners in Quran competition, maybe engaging also in recitation of the Quran?
Well, this is very inspiring, and I wish to thank all those who have been very active, especially Jamia Mosque, in promoting the Quran memorization and competition. And this is nurturing our youngsters to appreciate Quran. And also these rewards. Of course, we don't study and memorize Quran for the sake of the dunya, but it's inspiring, because people have neglected the Quran, people have neglected madrasa. So when they see that, okay, so if you study, if you memorize Quran, you can go places, you can get reward, apart from rewards that come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, apart from the benefits that we derive ourselves personally, but there are other benefits that come with it. 6 million for this youngster, mashallah, is enough school fees for her, you know, probably her high school and even college, it might cover. So the parent might not struggle when it comes to fees. So I also wish to call upon people who are organizing such to just not reward money, but to reward them with, you know, life-changing things like bursaries. You know, if the child is in primary, they can say, we're going to sponsor you all the way to high school until you finish your high school, or your education will be covered all the way up to university or college, whichever level the child wants to pursue. So that, you know, at one time, present is good, but then it might be misused. When 6 million comes to a family, they might all of a sudden realize they need a better house, they need, you know, better furniture and all that. But this child, this is their sweat, and this is their reward, is supposed to actually help them. But you see, maybe the family is in need. So I would encourage that rather than just give trophies and give money and give trips. I've seen people giving trips, go to Dubai, go for Umrah, go for Hajj. Very good, very noble. But my focus would be rather be in education and let these youngsters, because it's education, let these youngsters be granted scholarships.
Okay.
Yes.
If we look at the last the competition that secured this girl to represent Kenya in the Dubai Quran competition, there was quite a tough competition, because we saw that the second girl, the girl who emerged position 2, it was kind of not sure who the winner was or something like that. And we only have one person to represent Kenya.
Yes.
What could be the other thing? Because you can find that the second person also wanted to represent Kenya.
Yeah, you know, in a competition, unfortunately, we have to have one winner. Of course, here we've had several winners. We've had people tie up. People have shared certain positions. At least they balanced this.
Because it's the final.
Yeah, they balanced. They made sure that the top 10 is not just the top 10. Among the top 10, you have maybe 12 or so people in the top 10, because there are people who are tying, and we should be able to appreciate that. However, it really doesn't matter, because when people tie in a certain score, there are other extra things people will look for, especially the judges. It's tight, so they will look at other things that make someone stand out. You know, it could be the mannerism, it could be whatever they will look at, so that at the end of the day they decide fairly on who is best among them. So I think it's just okay, it's fair, and we want to encourage, our community specifically. I would also love us to have the national competitions like Tanzania. Tanzania, they have almost like 2 or 3 international competitions, and they host them in Tanzania. So for us, we can start at national level, because we've just been doing Nairobi or some regional. Levels, so we can now go all the way to the national level. Then from the national level, we go to the regional level, where we invite the East African countries. Then we go to the African level. Then we go to the international level, like Tanzania.
That was a quite tough decision to make, decide on who the winner was. Anyway, we just say Mabruk to our little youngster, Fathi Hassan, and also to the rest that participated. Back to front page, there is Kenya Hajj Mission pledges improved services for pilgrims. This is a conference, a Hajj conference that took place on Saturday. Maybe what could have happened before that did not please the pilgrims, and that is why they want to improve the services for pilgrims.
Okay, I think of course, times have been changing and things have been changing, but the Kenya Hajj Mission has had quite a fair share of its own challenges in terms of managing, in terms of management of the pilgrims' affairs. And last year, of course, we've had quite a number of complaints in terms of either they were crowded in one tent, and bathroom facilities were limited. Maybe 100 people or so could be able to share maybe 1 or 2 bathrooms, which is not possible. We've had people miss their flights. We've had people miss their visas in the past, and several other factors. So it's good that they have come to the realization that they have to improve those services, because if they're getting resources from the people and they're promising to give them services, then it's only fair that they give them services, because this is ibadah, and you don't want to put someone in a situation where they don't achieve what they were supposed to have achieved in the ibadah. They do it with a lot of strain. So it's good. We call upon them to actually improve in those areas, and not only having a conference is good enough, but feedback from the pilgrims themselves, feedback from the agents is more crucial. And of course, looking at what other people are doing. How are they doing it? Of course, we're not asking for benchmarking like political benchmarkings where they'll have to go to Indonesia, have to go to America and say we are benchmarking, we want to see how the Americans organize their Hajj. No. But we are looking at them benefiting. There's, you know, we have nowadays technology. You know, you can always have a conference and the South Africans can, you know, tell you what they are doing and how they are doing it at the comfort of your home. We can have the boardroom of Jamia and we connect to some institution in Jeddah and ask them, how do you do? How do you organize? So that we can also emulate that. So it's crucial that they do that, and I call upon SUPCAM and its leadership to do that, prioritize the interest of the pilgrims.
Okay. That is what is written here. We can see that Deputy Chairman of Jamia Mosque, Brother Abdulatif Isaji, emphasized the need for SUPCAM to organize awareness and sensitization forum to educate the intending pilgrims on early preparations to avoid last minute. Other than organizing a Hajj conference, I can see that is the officials or the leaders in charge of taking people to Saudi Arabia for Hajj bill. Maybe what could be the other thing? Because we can see that Brother Abdul Latif has talked about having awareness and sensitization forums for the pilgrims.
It's quite true. We have seen that. I think I've seen certain groups, certain agents. I know Sheikh Abdul Latif Abdul Karim and the Imams Council are doing that. That they would have a one-day conference to take people through, especially the pilgrims, on what is expected of them, you know, all the rituals that they have to go through. Because people initially used to go for Hajj, and you would sit with your imam to take you through that, and you'd miss out some things. But now, being, you know, doing it in a conference is better, and it has to be before. Even someone, you know, this should be a continuous process where even if I don't intend to go for Hajj this year, but I can be able to attend the conference and know what it entails so that I prepare myself to go next year. And if I've enrolled to go for Hajj, then it's just fair that I be taken through the process so that I understand I'm supposed to submit my documents by this time, I'm supposed to go for vaccination, and it's unfortunate that it has happened in the past that people take the shortcut rather than going for actual vaccination. They go obtain cards, vaccination cards, which to some extent also it's bad because this is ibadah of Hajj and you don't want to start by cheating.
Okay. Yeah. They say the earlier the better. There are so much stories here to look at, but due to time constraints, I think we are going to end the show there. Thank you so much for coming today, Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. Until next time, right?
Yes.
I'm glad to have
available.
I'm glad to have you here today.
Thank you very much.
Since there are a lot of stories that really matters to you on this Friday bulletin, maybe you can grab yourself a copy today, inshallah, so that you know what is going on in the community. Until next Friday, same time, same place. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.